Unkosher love. Aaron couldn't get his eyes off of her. Yes, he was so happy to be at the wedding of his first cousin Sarai, but he was beyond intrigued with another. All Aaron could think about was how to get the confidence to strike up a conversation with this beauty. And if he couldn't gather enough, he would get with his cousin on some downtime, because he had to know more about her. The lady in question was Rihanna. She was Sarai's longtime friend. They met when they were 6 years old at El Shaddai's primary school and had been friends and best buddies ever since. The two friends shared so many special life moments together, like Sarai's bat mitzvah and Rihanna's sweet 16, to Rihanna's piano recitals and Sarai's horse racing competitions. The two were always there for each other. Today was no different. Sarai was getting married and Rihanna was her maid of honor. After the event, Aaron had the pleasure of seeing Rihanna walking by. He couldn't pass up the opportunity to greet the most beautiful woman he had ever laid his eyes on in his lifetime. He decided to try and get her attention. Rihanna, being the well-mannered lady that she was, politely stopped after Aaron greeted her. After introducing himself as the first cousin of her friend and the bride, Rihanna became more comfortable. She realized that she had heard so much about Aaron over the years and realized that he was the favorite cousin that Sarai always talked about that had just moved to the island from the Big Apple. It was the truth. Aaron had just relocated from Manhattan, New York, for the purpose of serving in the synagogue, and he couldn't really say that he was enjoying the experience. But what he did know that he was enjoying was the conversation that he was having with this soft-spoken yet articulate, beautiful woman. Although he did not know it at the time, Rihanna, who thought Aaron was cute in a goofy kind of way, enjoyed the conversation as well. The two exchanged numbers and parted their ways. A few days had passed when Aaron had called Rihanna to invite her out for a bite. She gladly accepted, and they both enjoyed the day. The odd pair to some had a natural chemistry that led for them to become nearly inseparable, enjoying, engaging, and learning about each other every step of the way. Months had passed, and before Aaron had realized it, he felt deeply in love with Rihanna. She loved him just as deep as well. They spent so much time together, and Aaron shared with Rihanna one of his favorite hobbies. He loved horticulture and plants. He even took her to his home to see all the beautiful foliage around it. Some he planted, some already there. Rihanna was impressed. She shared with him her hobby of cooking gourmet food for her family, and she even taught him a recipe or two. That was Aaron's only hobby, as his degree was in business marketing. He was just taking a break from the big city life that he'd always known, just to contemplate if that was even what he wanted to do and where he wanted to be. His family, owners of one of the biggest jewelry companies and diamond dealers in the tri-state area of the United States. A job or even money was nothing he ever had to worry about. For Aaron, it was not about the money or the security. It was that he wanted to create his own path, even if it meant starting something from scratch. Rihanna understood Aaron 100%. She got him way down to the core of his heart. Now, Rihanna's family were not as wealthy as Aaron's family, but they were a far cry from broke. They were financially comfortable and also rich in spirit. Both of Rihanna's parents were physicians. Her paternal uncle was also a physician. Her brother was in his residency, and her cousin was currently in medical school. Smartness and high IQs were in their DNA. Regardless of her family's success in the medical field, just like Aaron, Rihanna wanted to do her own thing. She didn't long to be a medical doctor, but an engineer. She had completed her undergrad and was now in a master's program and had already designed some of the finest auto mechanics in the region. She would be that chick. Before long, the oddness yet cuteness of the couple gained popularity around some of the parts of the island where they always frequented. And of course, outside of their obligations, they were always together. Their families even saw the magnitude of their love, and both sides were equally happy for them, at least most were. It was the outsiders, and the ones that mattered the least, that had the most to say. On a day back from synagogue, Aaron was confronted by Ross Tinney, a fourth cousin to Rihanna and co-owner of one of the local joints he and Rihanna loved to frequent. Ross Tinney asked Aaron of his true intentions for Rihanna and mentioned that he hoped he didn't see her as some type of exotic plaything. Aaron was so offended by that and assured him that both his intentions and love for Rihanna were pure. Also, Rihanna had mentioned to Aaron that same cousin had confronted her and warned her of the same sort of thing that he had mentioned to him. Seeing how upset Rihanna was at the situation, Aaron became annoyed all over again. It was when Aaron brought Rihanna to the synagogue for Sabbath service did the real foolishness start. The so-called godly men behaved in such an ungodly manner and were in an uproar at the situation, thinking that certain people did not belong together, or worse, that certain people were unequal to each other, were the conversations of the day. The odd couple became such a topic of discussion that some of the synagogue members, including a few of the rabbis, had an entire seaside meeting about it. When Aaron heard about it, he became enraged. He decided to confront both the members and Rihanna's very, very distant cousins. He went to them one after the other, not timidly trying to justify his love for this beautiful Afro-Caribbean woman, but instead went to put them in all their places, using scripture, wisdom, and common sense, all of which the offenders had lacked. Enough was enough, Aaron thought to himself. Rihanna's immediate family were a beautiful, spirited set of individuals, and although he was raised Orthodox, his parents were some of the most kind, accepting, and loving people he ever knew. Him and Rihanna had all the backup and all the blessings they needed. And on one bright sunny day, so carefree and in the presence of friends, Aaron asked Rihanna to be his wife. And with her agreement, they became engaged according to Aaron's customs, with a beautiful church wedding to follow according to her customs, and with the best friend Sarai as her maid of honor. And the unique pair continued to learn about each other's cultures and customs, growing in love and acceptance every step of the way, learning that sometimes the oddest couples make the best life partners. The end. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for listening and watching. And remember, WDUL, what did you learn? I think we could learn a lot of things about this short story. Lots of things to talk about, lots of things to think about. Until next time, thank you guys and God bless.